Auto insurance can all seem the same until it comes time to use it. So don't get stuck paying more for less coverage. Switch to USAA Auto Insurance and you could start saving money in no time. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, welcome to Coaching Youth Hoops.
Coach,
hey, Coach,
how are you?
Good. If you hear dogs walking around, I'm sorry, but they seem like they're going to fall through the ceiling of my studio.
I do actually
right
hear
now.
that.
I know.
I mean, now that you say that,
it's a good. Those are the dogs. They're upstairs.
Yeah, okay.
They must be playing with mom or something.
Yeah.
All right. Before we jump into today's topic, this podcast is brought to you by
Game Changer.
It is.
And we appreciate what Game Changer is doing for coaches and parents. And if you haven't heard of Game Changer, first off, go to gc.com/coaching youth hoops. Again, gc.com/coaching youth hoops.
Okay, so side note, / is the one that goes from the bottom left to the upper right.
The upper right.
Yeah, right. It's by the question mark on I'm looking at my keyboard. I always confuses me when people say so it's it's gc.gamechanger.com and then it's the / that starts bottom left, upper right.
That's right. It's usually the question mark.
By the question mark, and then Coaching Youth Hoops. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. But with Game Changer, I started using it about a month ago and absolutely love it. Tracks your stats for your games. Great for youth teams specifically. One, because it's free. You can stream games live, and so if your grandma can't make it to a game, she can watch the game live.
I know you said you had a parent do that the other day.
Yeah, and they were actually a parent. They were on vacation. They missed our game, and they were watching the game unfold. I don't even know where they went, but they got so excited about the fact that they could watch. Their daughter could watch her teammates play and see the stats come in.
It's the split parents, not split parents like necessarily not together, but it's like my wife was taking my daughter or my son, and I was someone else. You could just get it on your phone and watch it. I mean, that's the best part. Yeah. They're in practice, they're in ballet practice, they're taking guitar lessons or something. You can sit there and watch it. I love that.
Yeah, so go download it right now, coaches. Yep. It's free, and it truly is, pun intended, a game changer.
Give that URL one more time, Coach.
It's gc.com/coaching youth hoops, all one word. gc.com/coaching youth hoops.
All right, what's the topic today?
We're going to talk about confidence. This has come up quite a bit on our Facebook group in one form or fashion. The biggest thing is that one of the more controversial topics is, do you pull kids for making mistakes in a game? And if you do, at what age might that start, and how do you handle that situation? And what's a mistake, right? So.
I don't tend to do that at the younger ages. I don't even really tend to do it at my level. However, in the last couple of years, post-COVID, our turnover rate's been too high. So I basically told them, you make a turnover, you're coming out, which has kind of helped. Like, it's more of a trigger than anything else. Is like, don't turn the ball over, I'm taking you out. But as a former player, I never really loved that. I don't think I
Yeah.
learned anything by it. That's the issue. It's the teacher in me. I'm not sure I'm
Well,
going
I
to learn
think back
anything.
in our day, right? That's what we do.
Oh, it
I
was
I
all the
had a
time.
coach that was his thing. I was an assistant coach. I mean, I'm sorry, it was the JV coach. And, he said one of our things, if they make a mistake, you pull them out. I didn't agree with it, but that's what he wanted. So, a lot of times what I did though was I would pull them out, have a conversation. And this is high school, so it's different, right? We'll get to grade school. Uh, Pull them out, have a conversation, and put them back in right away. Sometimes that reset helps as well. Like if you know you make a couple mistakes in a row, you just sometimes you need a reset. We all do, right? So I
Right.
found different ways to do that in game now, and I teach the kids that even at the grade school level. But I don't know. I agree with you. At the grade school level, they're going to make mistakes. They're going to make mistakes every time they touch the ball or they're on the court. That's just expected. They're learning.
Well, I just in my other membership, I just did a course on mistake response, and I did this with my team too
Love
because
that.
it was great, and it was and I did a lecture with my guys for about 30 minutes on it. But it's more about the game of basketball is a game riddled game.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I told the boys, I said, I've never seen a perfect basketball game ever.
Yeah.
Like you're never going to see a perfect basketball game.
Right.
There's always, I've never seen a box score with 0-0 turnovers.
Yeah.
And those are just obvious mistakes. There's other mistakes. I didn't get to the help line, midline or help line or whatever.
Right.
There's other mistakes, but the obvious ones, I've never seen one. I've never seen a 0-0 box score, like no turnovers in the entire game. So there's going to be a mistake or mistakes, and it's a very fast-paced game. So I said, the great ones come up with the mistake response before it happens. Like, how are you going to handle the turnover? And then one of my players had a turnover and then went down and took a charge. So I showed him that. And I found a couple clips on the internet. I said, this is a good mistake response. You want your energy to go up rather than down. So again, I think it's a very good and teachable moment. To like, if your mistake response is bad, then maybe I have to pull you, if you're walking down the court or your shoulders go down, but maybe I don't have to pull you. So I think it's the conversation you can have with the player, that makes it more constructive and more educational, in my opinion.
What about, well, let's talk about very specific.
And that's going, I don't know how that reads into our initial thing with confidence, but I think it does.
Well, it's confident. Well, yeah. Because what happens, and I had this conversation with my team, is, well, two conversations that I want to talk about. So kind of this confidence in the idea of making a mistake is they said they get obviously they're more nervous and they play a little tighter if they know they're going to get pulled for making a mistake, right? Versus just free flow, let the game go. We know they're going to make mistakes. And I talk about this with them all the time. You're going to make a mistake. I'm going to make a mistake. I'm going to miss the timeout that I should have taken. I'm going to tell you that I'm going to make a wrong read and tell you to do X, right? And it was the wrong read at the wrong time. I said, we're all going to make mistakes, but the biggest thing is how, like you said, mistake response. How do we respond to our mistakes? Do we just missed a wide open layup? Do we, you're head down, running back the other way, arms long, that stance, or do you like, okay, I don't want to do that again. I didn't do it on purpose, right? We all know they don't want to miss a wide open layup, right? But it's all how you respond. Get your butt back on defense and play hard.
Right. Hey, before we go any farther, let's give a big shout out to our sponsor, Coach.
Game Changer. Game Changer. Go to gamechanger.com/coaching youth hoops. Actually, and if you want to understand the mistakes that you talked about,
there you go,
turnovers and things like that, right? I mean, keep track of those things, because in our head, it's a lot different than actuality, right? We only had 5 turnovers, felt like it was 50, right?
Right.
Well, with Game Changer, you can keep track of the stats.
I think a direct quote from me last night is, film don't lie, guys.
Film don't lie. Yeah. Film don't lie, right?
It doesn't lie at all. So,
That's
okay.
right.
So go ahead. I
Yeah,
didn't interrupt,
it's
Coach. You were on a
free,
second
and
point.
yeah,
It's
no,
free.
and Game Changer is free, so coaches go download that. It's great for keeping track of stats, filming games live. So if parents not available, they can see their player on the court, and they can see the stats live as well. So go to gc.com/coaching youth hoops. It's how we keep these podcasts free for you.
Yes. Okay.
And GC is free. So, but going back to
You were on a
this
second
idea of,
point when I rudely
yeah.
interrupted. Go ahead. But
Oh yeah, no,
I gotta take my wife to Chipotle, so I had to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. The I asked the guy. We were just doing in-game scrimmage, or I mean a scrimmage in practice. Sorry, and I was getting a little frustrated, and I stopped the scrimmage and I said, "Is there a rule in basketball that says as soon as you get the ball, you have to dribble it?" And they looked at me and they're like, "No." And I'm like, "Then why are we all dribbling right away as soon as we get the ball and going? Sometimes we go someplace. Most of the times we're not going anywhere."
Right.
And they stopped and thought about that. And they said, "Yeah, there's no rule." And I said, "Well, why do you do that?" Because I really wanted to understand. They said, "Because we get nervous." And I
Right.
thought, oh, okay. They get nervous. They get nervous because the defense is on them. They get nervous because they feel like they have to do something. They get nervous, maybe because of me. There's lots of reasons why the kids get nervous, right? And we have to, as coaches, we have to recognize this. And this goes back to the root of this, which is giving them confidence. Like, okay, like they need to know what to do when they get the ball in their hands.
Right.
And the different situations. This is a whole nother discussion, right? The different situations of, well, what's the read? Sometimes it's okay to dribble because you're wide open, you're one-on-one, and you have to go, right? You do a stampede and go to the basket.
Right.
Other times it's like, oh, wait for the play to develop, right? Wait for the screen to be set before you put the ball to the ground, right? All those different situations. But more playing time gives them confidence. More practice time gives them confidence on the court. But
explaining what you want,
explaining
what you want.
Yeah.
So, like, a kid makes a mistake. Now, it's different when they make a mistake and they put their hand on the stove. They're going to get burned, and they're going to learn not to do it. However, if they turn and the old school of yelling at them does not work.
No.
The Bobby Knight era is over. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
Bobby.
Yeah.
So how can you constructively? So again, this is where Game Changer comes into play, but this is where film comes into play.
That's right.
In the sense that it's a great lesson. Practice is a great lesson teacher. Like, hey, no, maybe you need to bounce past that in rather than, and then we talk about where do we want to hold the ball and breaking windows and all those kind of things. But then, I think you have to think about not only their mistake response, but your mistake response.
That's right. Yeah.
I was talking to you before we came on the air about my mistake response early in the year, earlier in the week, and it was not a great mistake response, and they knew it. I told them it was not a great, but it was one and here's the reasoning behind that mistake response. Here's my thought behind it. I didn't do it, and I was trying to do something to get you motivated, and it didn't work. So I think those things are kind of those levels of like what is, and that will build confidence. If you give them a solution, they will know. Like, what I'm saying? That builds that confidence. Like, here's why I turned it over. Here's how I can make it better next time with my next quote unquote test kind of thing.
Well, and to that point, I mean, and they do know. I had a player say this to me the other day, and I was like, either, yes, you've been listening to me, and I appreciate that. But, they said, we were talking about it was a camp I just did, and we were talking about drills and teach. Oh, I was teaching the a proper I don't know what we were teaching. It doesn't matter. But one of the players said that she goes, the most important thing is to understand the why behind why you're doing the drill. I'm like, amen. That's it right there. It's like, why are we doing this particular thing? And if you don't just tell the kids, explain why. And I think that's really important.
No, I agree. All right. Anything else, Coach?
No, other than, hey, coaches, go to Game Changer, download the free app. It's at gc.com/coaching youth hoops. Give it a try.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. And now get early access to Memorial Day deals. Save 30% on our most popular smart bed, i8. Limited time. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.